Hi, and welcome to another Wog's World of Wrecks. I'm Paulie Woggs. Welcome to the shop. Today's episode, we're going to be continuing working on this 1967 Buick Riviera. From the previous episode, we pulled this from the house garage and brought it into the shop, and finally decided to try to get this thing running, which we actually did get it running. If you call it sputtering a little bit off of some starting fluid running, then yes, we got this car running. But we want to make this car a really reliable car. You know, just getting it starting, that's nothing. We want to be able to drive this car, to have a little bit of fun with it. As mentioned in the previous video, Naomi and I just want something to cruise around in while we continue to work on her Cougar and my truck. So we're going to continue working on this to make this a real reliable vehicle. What we need to do is we've got a whole long list of parts and things that we need to do to it. One, we need to pull the carburetor off, get that rebuilt. We need to put all new tune-up stuff on it, spark plug wires, straiber cap rotor button, and a lot of other maintenance items that I'm not going to mention at the moment, just too long of a list, but we'll mention it as we go and see what we can get. But hopefully by the end of this video, we're going to have a nice running, drivable car that's reliable, that her and I can just cruise around in and enjoy. Well, thanks again for joining us in the shop today. Hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to start by getting this old carburetor off of here. I'm sure as long as this thing's been on here, it's going to be filled with a lot of gunk and dirt and old fuel. So definitely time to give this thing an overhaul. Perhaps the reason I am so into cars like I am is because of my grandfathers. My grandpa, he owned a salvage yard growing up, and I remember playing around all the cars and remembering thinking to myself as a kid that I just don't know why people get rid of such beautiful cars. And you look around and of course you ask Grandpa, you think that thing will run again? And being that he was in the salvage business, he'd look and say, no, that car will never run again. I just think about all the old cars that have flowed in and out of all the salvage yards over time and how they've all just gone to the crushers and recycled. So I'm thinking I'm doing a little bit of a part trying to preserve a little bit of history and maybe make something drivable. And even if we don't want to keep it, maybe something we can sell on to somebody else. And like I said, just preserve a little bit of history. My other grandfather, my dad's side, he worked for Ford in the parts department. So yeah, we have a long history of cars in our family. Not necessarily a long history, but a solid history. I was influenced by both of them slightly. And of course, there's my own father as well. I always remember him working on cars out in the driveway. Not necessarily because it was fun, but because of a necessity, you know, having to get to the job and everything, and just watching my dad work on them, and like I said, being around them with my grandparents. It was just kind of one of those things that, you know, kind of stuck it into the blood, I guess. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get the radiator out of here next. I do have another one of those coming. Since we're not exactly sure what the condition of this radiator is, I don't want to put this one back in and be out driving around and have it possibly leak on us, since it's more than likely the original radiator from 1967. Hey, Naomi. Yep. Certainly did not come out like I was hoping it would. For those of you that are at home watching, Naomi just joined us. As you can tell, she greeted us with a sneeze. She gets really bad allergies this time of year from all the harvesting out here in the country where we live. We made a bit of a mess here trying to get this radiator out. There's antifreeze all over the place. Naomi did the best she could by cleaning a lot of it up. That's what she does. She always seems to be cleaning my messes up, which I really appreciate her for that. Of course, most of you men out there understand what I'm talking about. We can be messy at times. We can be messy a lot of the times. Still, I do my best to help her out whenever I can around the house. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and get this water pump out of here so we can get that replaced. All right, well, Naomi's over there. She's cleaning up the remains of what's left of the mess there with the mat. I've got a pile of parts here on the floor. I really don't want to leave them on the floor, and I don't want to put them on my nice cart over there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the trunk opened and see what's inside the trunk and put these parts in the trunk. The only problem is I don't have a key for the trunk. I do have a new lock for it, so we're going to have to drill out the old lock and get it replaced.
Look, there's a drill in it.
Hey, all right, we got a free drill. Sweet.
It's gotta be the cleanest trunk I've ever seen.
Looks like the bumper jack is still in there. Is the spare tire in it? Probably a snake underneath here. There's the spare tire. Doesn't look like there's a snake either. That's always a plus. Look how good in the shape that floor is in. And the spare tire's sitting. Here, let me lift that up. It's not all that bad. A little surface rust, but she's solid. Needs to have a new cap put in it. Not bad at all. All right, so we got the new lock put in. As you can see, it wasn't that bad to do the job. Goes in, turns. That's gonna have to be greased down a little bit, but goes in, turns, opens up just nice. All right, well, Naomi had to go inside. Her allergies were starting to get to the better of her, so she went inside, so we're left alone out here. We're gonna go ahead and just rock out and get a lot more of this stuff removed, and I'll kind of explain it after I'm done getting it all off of what was taken off and what we're replacing. So let's get back to it. use one of the wife's good lower bed sheets here for the mattress to protect my engine. I mean, we really don't need one to sleep on, but boy, this engine can't get ruined.
Has anyone seen the good bed sheets for the guest room?
No. Honey, I think I need to go to the store and get something. So I'm back out here to work on this. The last part of the video, we had taken the intake off, the water pump off, the power steering, several little things here and there, the coil, and just started prepping this engine, like I said, to make it really good and reliable. So after I started taking many things off, I got to the intake part there and I realized, you know what, I might as well just go ahead and reseal the intake. Won't hurt anything. That way we know that all the vacuum leaks and everything are taken care of. So again, we got that all ready to go. Got the surfaces all cleaned and prepped. So we're going to go ahead and start reassembling this engine back from where we took it apart. All right, so now that the intake is back on, I'm going to go ahead and put the fuel pump and the water pump back on, but I'm going to wait to put the power steering pump back in place because we'll have to hook up the lines for the fuel pump.
Enough of that!
Slick.
Beat. I don't think it means what you think it means.
All right, well, this is coming along really well. I'm getting pretty excited about this. So I think what we're going to do next is go ahead and get the thermostat put back in, the thermostat housing, and then we're going to go ahead and put the radiator in, get the hoses hooked back up, and get a couple of the belts put back on. Of course, I know we can't do the belt for the power steering. That's going to have to wait till we get the power steering pump put back in place. But we can go ahead and do that. And then once we get all that put on, we can go ahead and rebuild the carburetor and bolt that onto the intake, get all the vacuum lines ran, get all that kind of buttoned up. We might even go ahead and switch out the valve cover gaskets. I do have a couple of gaskets for that, so we might go ahead and do that as well. And then of course change the oil and prep it for that. And I think once we do that, we can go ahead and then jack it up, remove the fuel tank, and assess whether or not we can clean the tank or if we're just going to have to get a new one and to replace that. And then once we do that and get some new fuel lines hooked up, I think we're ready to start this thing and let it run and see how well it idles and everything, and make some adjustments to it. And then from there, maybe we get some wheels and tires put on it and some brakes. I don't know. We'll have to see what we can get done to it with this video, but definitely by the end of this video, we're going to have this engine running a lot better. Just so you know, I think you're an Esther in the box.
What?
Just so you know, I think you're an Esther in the box.
No, I'm a jack in the box. They boing. They go like this. They go boing.
Well, yeah, but that's a Jack in the Box.
That's what I said.
You're not a Jack in the Box.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You're an Esther in the box.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, Esther in the box.
Jack in the box.
Esther in the box.
Oh,
Just in case you can hear the ninja in the background, Esther's in the shop today, but she's not helping today. She's over there playing. All right, well, I have the carburetor disassembled as far as I'm going to take it apart. And what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to go ahead and dunk these parts into carburetor cleaner and let it set for a couple of days. That will help eat the gasket material off and at least, of course, clean out the gunk and all the debris and stuff that's in here. And we'll even soak the screws and stuff inside of a little basket as well and clean all that up. All right, so I've got everything buttoned up. We've got the carburetor put back on it. I've taken and ran some new vacuum lines. Of course, did all that off camera. Nothing major going on there. We got the power steering pump put back into place. Everything is good to go. I was going to pull the fuel tank and check it, but I ended up putting a stick down in it and found out that the fluid was a little old, but it wasn't all sticky and gummy. So I went ahead and put about 4 gallons of good fuel in there and mixed with it, and we'll see if it'll start off this old gas. and see how well this thing runs. So let's see what happens here. All right, well, that ran pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put the more fuel inside the fuel bowl here because the fuel pump is not yet kicked in and working. So we're going to go ahead and fill this up with some more fuel in the fuel bowl here. Let's see if we can't get this thing started and running again and see if it'll pull fuel from that fuel tank. Well, still not pulling fuel from that fuel tank. I'm not sure if there's any stuck sediment in there or whatnot. We'll give it a couple more tries here and see what happens. Running off of the fuel bowl. That's just the fuel in the fuel bowl. All right, well, we got it running a lot better this time. Better than the starting fluid, of course. It's not staying running. I'm guessing that there's a clog somewhere in the fuel line from the tank up. And of course, I know I put all that good gas in there. Was hoping it would run, but I'll go ahead and I'll drop the fuel tank and see what I can do about getting it cleaned out. If it's not cleanable, we'll go ahead and we'll get a new fuel tank for it and get it up in here. But we're one step closer to making this car run good and solid. Thanks for watching.
Oh boy.